no agendas. Are they on the other side? Hey, Jeff,
Ladies and
the
gentlemen,
agenda's on the other side.
this is the June 25 meeting of the Clarkson Montgomery County Regional Planning Commission. If you would, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Commissioners, you've had an opportunity to look at the minutes of the May 24 meeting. Are there any additions or changes? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Motion for approval.
Second.
Got a motion, a properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay. Mr. Tyndall?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everybody. We do have several deferrals today on the agenda. First one is under the subdivisions. Page number really close together. Number 3. Number 3. V2 2024. That's case number 5 there, being deferred a month.
V2.
V2. Yep. And then over on page 5, you've got S20 2024 also deferred. And then on page 7, case number 15, S40 2024 Smile Train also deferred. In addition, under the site plans, case number 17 on page 8, McDonald's is deferred, SR 26. And abandonments, I know they're already marked on your agenda, but we'll defer them officially. Abandonment 1, 2, and 3, case number 23, 24, and 25 are all deferred. Just a moment on those abandonments. We did find an old city resolution from 1981 that deals with abandonments, and we are trying to get a new resolution adopted by City Council on the process to abandon rights of way and easements. So we're going to hold up any abandonments till we get that through. That should be done next month. We're just going to make it more mirror what we do currently than what the old resolution says. So just apologize on the delay there, but that will get through City Council hopefully there in July, and we'll act on these in our July meeting. All right, Commissioners, you heard the deferrals, and I'll need a motion.
I need a motion to approve the deferrals.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay. Before Mr. Spain Howard gets up to make the presentations on rezoning, most of you have heard this many times, but there's an opportunity at each one of these rezonings for someone to speak in favor and someone to speak against. If that takes place, you're allowed 3 minutes for each speaker. And at the end, if there is anyone who is against one of the cases, the applicant has an opportunity for a rebuttal. So remember, these are all recommendations only. They go forward to the city or the county government agencies for approval. So if you want to follow your case, follow the information that's in the agenda. It's got the dates and the times of those meetings. Keep in mind the city council requires 2 votes, the county only 1 vote. So if you're going to be there, especially on a county rezoning, you better make the 1 meeting, because that's the only opportunity you've got to speak for or against that particular rezoning. Mr. Spain Howard?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, for the opportunity to be here today. Your first city zoning case starts on page 1 on your iPad under the city zoning staff report. It is under the name of Bypass Storage, Z23 2024. The request encompasses 2.89 acres. presently zoned C4 Highway Interchange District, proposed to go to C5 Highway and Arterial Commercial District. It came up in our informal. The C4 Highway Interchange District is the zoning classification used at the interstate exits. Would this request be an extension of the zoning classification? Answer would be yes. It's currently land that's been cleared for current development. The applicant's statement for the zone change request is zone change will allow for additional potential tenants for proposed office retail development currently under construction. C5 allows for uses that are not allowed in C4, such as professional office, personal care services, and many other retail establishments that would be potential tenants. At the bottom of the page, you'll notice that it is in the Rossview planning area. Moving to page 2, you'll see the zoning history for this application. It was discussed in the informal that the request for C5 at the rear of the property took place roughly a year ago. That was supported as a favorable recommendation by the Planning Commission staff, with the understanding that the front of the property would remain C4 zoning. Under page 2, you'll see the department comments that were received in reference to the application, including the very bottom comment from the school system. Page 3 of the staff report, staff's recommendation is for disapproval. The request is not consistent with the overall goals and objectives of the adopted Clarksville-Montgomery County Comprehensive Plan. The correct zoning classification for the frontage of this property remains C4 Highway Interchange Zoning District. The availability of C4 Highway Interchange Zoning District is limited to the areas of the interstate exits. It is not encouraged to reduce the stock of C4 zoning for the immediate and future needs of C4 uses for this interchange. There's been no adverse environmental issues identified as part of this request. On the next page, you'll see that no formal public comments have been logged. And then you'll see 2 aerial photographs and a zoning map overview of the area. If you have any questions for myself or the staff, I'll be more than happy to try to answer them.
Okay, we'll have a public meeting for Z23 2024. Is anyone here like to speak in favor of this rezoning application? Please identify your name and address, please, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'm Clay Powers, 3195 Highway 76, Adams. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in favor of this. I would like to hand out a little bit of information, if that's okay. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. About a year ago, roughly, I did go through the rezoning process, and during that process, I spoke to the Planning Commission staff, and I was encouraged to consider staying with the C4 because of the continuation of the C4 in that area. A couple of things have changed since all that has happened. Number one, I knew and I expressed that concern when I went through the process a year ago that there would be potential tenants that would have issues with being able to have their business in a C4 zoning. And before you today, I have handed out to you a LOI, a letter of intent, from the Farm Bureau. And I think we all know that Farm Bureau's probably is low profile, easy of a customer as you could possibly have. They want to be in that retail space, in that center. However, because it's zone C4, I'm not allowed to let them in there. And so I have been unable to act on this LOI until I possibly get this rezoned to allow good retail tenants to be in there. The other thing that's happened recently is the property that adjoins this, probably less than 60 days ago, they rezoned to C5 that adjoins this, and they're planning on doing a retail center just like I'm doing. So, you know, and their property adjoins my property. So I guess, you know, I guess all I'm asking is for the opportunity to be able to compete for the same clients that was approved less than 60 days ago that are going to be looking for places to go in the C5 zone. So if you have any other questions, I'll be glad to answer it. But I just gave you that LOI so that you have something that you could see that, you know, that it's very, you know, minimal changes, really, at the end of the day. We're not talking about a gas station or anything like that, so.
Mr. Powers,
Yes,
the
sir.
retail center is going in, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have other tenants that are under LOI right now to do it. And so it's, you know, we're getting ready to start hopefully within the next 90 days on construction. So we're finalizing the architectural plans.
Mr. Powers, you said that another parcel next to you
Yes,
is getting ready
uh-huh.
to, is that behind you or right beside you on Rossview?
Their property comes all the way to Rossview Road.
Uh-huh.
And their property adjoins it's actually part of the Quick Trip property that's beside of it. And so, and it's in behind it, but
Okay.
yes. So
Okay.
you have McDonald's along the front, and then you have the road that loops around.
Right.
And then they are right there in the back, but they come all the way out to the front with their property, so.
Okay.
Okay.
And they are planning on putting in a retail center, and from what I was told, it's gonna be a pharmacy, and, you know, so it's, you know.
Commissioner, if I may, on your page 8 of your staff report, you will see it's at the rear of the property. It's highlighted there. Very similar to the application, the back portion of the property is zone C5. I believe Mr. Powers chosen to develop mini storage on the entirety of that C5 portion, and they reserved the front half of their property as C4, along the same idea that we asked for Mr. Powers. So not being treated any differently. They're roughly the same depth and everything.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Powers.
Mhm.
Is anybody else here Mr. Powers, is anybody else here to speak? Okay. Anyone here would like to speak against Z23? Anyone against Z23? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I do have just a couple of questions, if it's okay. My first question is, I know it's referenced to, I know this was talked a little bit about in the informal, but it was referenced to retain we're wanting to retain as much as possible of the stock of C4 zoning for the immediate and future needs of C4 uses. What is the reasoning for that first? Let me start with it.
I don't mind answering. The C4 has a list of uses that are primary for the motoring public that may not be familiar with your community. So there's a lot of uses that you pull off the interstate, you're unfamiliar with the area, so you need to see the facilities that you're looking and working for. Using the example of the letter intent here from Farm Bureau, that's not normally a use that you drive by and say, oh, I need to stop at Farm Bureau today. Those type of professional establishments are usually done by appointment basis and can usually be done on a secondary frontage, such as to the east of this property where you have the additional road behind there. That's a location where you can schedule an appointment, look up a location, and visit those facilities. Barbershops, hair salons, and things that work on appointment basis are great type of secondary off-the-road frontage uses. If you look at the major uses in C4, they are uses associated with high visibility and the need to see the site that's there. Out of fairness to this application, not to get too far into what was discussed, there was a large area, 3/4 of the property was reserved as C5 for the applicant that's applied. They've just chosen to use the entire property to develop a mini storage facility. So, long-range planning, we think there's a wide use of uses that can go in C4, can make use of this property and benefit the local individuals and those that are visiting through the interstate system. So, and the other key takeaway is we're getting ready to open the book on the entire zoning ordinance. So there's no telling what zones end up where in a matter of a year, whether Farm Bureau is a permitted use in the zoning classification or it's removed from C5 and goes to a different zone. I can't answer that at this point in time, but
That's a long ways off as well. I mean, we're
about
just
a year.
a year. So I mean, I hate to say, well, just wait a year to figure out what we're gonna do. I mean, that's just my thought on that. In regard to, I know it was mentioned that they had talked to you previously about doing it all as C5, and with working through you during that process, they did do the C4 on the front. But I think what the idea was there, and I'm remembering back from about a year ago, was because it was not wanted for the entire thing to be mini storage, that it was wanted a retail option to be on the front because it was highway. So I'm thinking that's where that came about from, and this, with what they're requesting and what they've already submitted with plans, shown us with a letter of intent and other letters of intent that they have, they're still offering that retail opportunity. And I understand the thought process behind wanting availability of specific businesses for those that are passing through the community. But I know when we met with the residents, myself as a council member, when I met with the residents and the developer was there talking about what they want to do, one of the things they talked about was they want those those that live in the area, if they're going to have something commercial there, the ones that were supportive at least of that aspect of it, they wanted businesses that they were able to go to. So I think focusing on keeping that at C4 only, mainly for the benefit of those driving through the community versus, having those opportunities such as an insurance agency available right there on Rossview. And I know, I drive on main roads every day and I'm passing insurance agencies and other beauty facilities, things like that. So for me, I just can't see the issue with going from C4 to C5, no different than we just went to C5 a month ago with an approval from both the staff and the commission.
And everyone's entitled to their opinion. I will state that I'm not sure who's told them that retail is not a permitted use. It is clearly a permitted use in C4.
I don't think I said that. I
believe
apologize.
It's in the.
I apologize if
I
I don't believe I said that retail wasn't allowed in C4, but
Okay.
obviously, because that was the reason we asked them to do C4 was to allow for retail, but it opens up more retail opportunities for them at C5 than it does at C4, correct?
Retail's permitted in currently in C4. There's not any additional
No,
retail
but
that's not being permitted.
your offices, medical offices, beauty office, the things you sat there and mentioned that you think would
Professional
be.
service offices.
Professional service
they would
office,
not
you
be
thought-
normally permitted in C4. That is accurate.
But those are still, businesses that residents in the area utilize.
And from what I understand, they are, the building will be built with tenant sections in it, so, that's already the plan. Am I correct, Mr. Powers, on that?
Can I address that, sir? No, I'm allowed to do that.
Yes or no, Mr. Powers?
Yes.
That's good. Okay, Commissioners, you've heard Mr. Powers, you've heard the staff report.
I make a motion for approval based on the C5 already being available in the area.
Second.
Got a motion and a properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.
Please note I abstain.
Okay. One abstention and all the rest were in favor of the motion. Motion passes, Mr. Powers.
Commissioners, your next application starts on page 9 of the staff report. It is application Z24 of 2024. I.E. Edwards is the name of the applicant. The request encompasses .19 acres, plus or minus. Presently zoned R4 multifamily residential district to C5 highway and arterial commercial district. This would be an extension of the zoning classification. It's a parcel of land located in the northeast corner of Darrow Road and Copeland Road. It's a former single-family residential site converted to a commercial building. The applicant's statement is would like to use the residential property for full public business use. Try to add a little clarity to that statement. This was, my understanding, approved through the Board of Zoning Appeals originally as an in-home occupation, with the applicant residing at the property, and now the applicant no longer wishes to reside there and would like to convert the entire property to commercial use. This is in the North Clarksville planning area. Page 10, you'll see the department comments, of which the street department has mentioned water quality requirements have not been met for redevelopment of this property. That same is redundant for the drainage comments. Page 11, this request will permit increased traffic, light, and noise. It's, as stated earlier, in the North Clarksville planning area. The staff's recommendation is for approval. The request is consistent with the overall goals and objectives of the adopted Clarksville-Montgomery County Comprehensive Plan. The future land use opinion map shows this parcel at the transition of suburban neighborhood and corridor commercial. The proposed C5 highway and arterial commercial district is an extension of the established C5 district. It is not out of character with the surrounding development pattern and does not appear to be an intrusion into the adjoining neighborhood. No adverse environmental issues have been identified as part of this request. However, the Clarksville Street Department has indicated that the existing construction has not received a formal review from their office. We did receive a couple of phone calls with questions in reference to this as to what was taking place. No one chose to leave a comment of opposition. And then you have the two aerial photographs and the zoning map overview of the area. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to try to answer them for you.
Okay, we're going into public hearing for case Z24. R4 to C5 is the request. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak in favor of Z24?
My name is A.E. Edwards. I'm owner of this property. And then I starting a couple of months ago to the homeowner business. I do, but I decide I want a full business for the user for this property. That was a request.
What kind of business are you putting there, Ms. Edwards?
It's right now it's alteration. You're starting with the alteration business inside the base. It's the last 10 years, and then I try to extend more. So I do the more alteration business in and outside. That's why.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of Z24? Anyone here who is against case Z24? Anyone against? Seeing no opposition, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners,
Make a motion to approve based on staff's recommendation.
Second.
got a motion and properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.
Nay.
Got one nay. Motion passes.
Your next application starts on page 17. It is Z25-2024. It's the application of A.J. Saunders Jr. The agent is Jason Doherty. The request is just under 3/4 an acre at .64 plus or minus. Requested, or it's currently zoned R4 multifamily residential district and C2 general commercial district. Proposed to go to CBD, which is the central business district zoning classification. This would be an extension of the CBD zoning classification. It's currently 3 parcels fronting on the north and south frontages of Bogard Lane, and approximately 165 feet west of the North Second and Bogard Lane intersection. The 3 parcels, which are currently has a vacant commercial structure and 2 vacant lots with vegetation. The applicant's statement for proposed use is to match existing zoning classification of properties to the north, west, and south for development of a residential project. The planning area is the downtown urban core. On page 18 of the staff report, you'll see the department comments that were received. The street department did indicate that sidewalks would along road frontage and improvements to Bogard Lane will be reviewed or required at the site development phase. The next page, the impact will be increased development and mixed-use opportunity. Property is accessible by North 2nd Street and Bogard Lane. And as stated earlier, this is in the downtown urban core planning area. Staff's recommendation is for approval. The request is consistent with the overall goals and objectives of the adopted Clarksville-Montgomery County Comprehensive Plan. This request will permit higher density residential development and infill, which is a recommendation of the comp plan for the downtown urban core. These parcels are shown as part of the urban core and on the adopted land use opinion map, and the CBD Central Business District zoning request aligns with the future land use and the comp plan as a whole. No environmental issues have been identified relative to this request. On page 21, there's been no public comments received in reference to this application. The following 2 pages are aerial overviews with the crosshatched areas showing the application. And then on page 24 is a zoning map overview of the property. I know our CBD zone has kind of the crosshatch built in, but if you have trouble finding them on that map, it's directly at the bottom of North 2nd Street's call out there on the zoning map. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to try to answer them.
Okay, we're going into public hearing for case Z-25-2024, A.J. Saunders Jr. being the owner and/or the applicant. Anyone here would like to speak in favor of this rezoning application?
Yes, sir. My name's Jason Yardy. I'm the agent for the applicant in this case. Pretty simple case, but glad to answer any questions or comments that you guys may have.
Jason, give us your address.
Oh, I'm sorry. 4185 Hargrove Maryville, Palmyra.
Did you make a wrong turn and come to this meeting today?
It was difficult to get here, but I found my way. I'll probably be towed when I leave. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Doherty. Anyone else would like to speak in favor of Z-25? Anyone who'd like to speak against Z-25? Seeing no activity, public hearing is closed. Commissioners, back to regular session.
Motion for approval is consistent with the overall goals and objectives of the adopted Clarksville-Montgomery County Comprehensive Plan.
Second.
Got a motion and properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Mr. Doherty, you can go back out in the country.
Commissioners, if you'll back up to your main table of contents and click on county zoning, you do have one county zoning application. This month it is CZ 6/2024. It's the application of Jonathan Blick. This request encompasses just over a third of an acre at .35 plus or minus. Presently zoned RM1 single family mobile home residential, proposed to go to R4 multiple family residential district. This would be an extension of the R4 zoning classification. And it's for a piece of land fronting on the west frontage of Center Road, approximately 200 feet south of the Britton Springs Road and Center Road intersection. It's currently an existing mobile home lot with a mobile home on site. The applicant has stated they plan to match similar zoning to the west, and then we'll build in similar sized units as we built at the end of the road. This is in the Lafayette and Peters Mill planning area. You'll see the department comments in reference to this application, of which only one had any concerns listed. And I don't know that I would call the school system common a concern, as they do meet the capacities for that area. Page 3, it is increased, this will allow for increased residential density, accessible from Center Road. Historical estimates indicate a quadplex, and the staff's recommendation is for approval. This request is consistent with the overall goals and objectives of the adopted Clarksville-Montgomery County Comprehensive Plan. This parcel is shown as part of the suburban neighborhood future land use. While predominant use is moderate density single-family residential, this request is adjacent to a new multifamily residential development. It replaces aging housing stock and increases housing options in the planning area without negatively affecting the character of the area. It is encouraged to maintain a desirable mixture of housing stock for the planning area, and no environmental issues have been identified as part of this request. There's been no formal public comment logged. You have your 2 aerial photographs of the property in question, and the zoning map is also included. What I can tell you is, unfortunately, that is an area that our most current aerials are not available due to proximity to Fort Campbell, but there is development occurring directly to the west and southwest on the other R4 property that's highlighted on the zoning map. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to try to answer them.
Okay, we're into public hearing for case CZ 06-2024. Owner and applicant is Jonathan Blick. Is anyone here who'd like to speak in favor of this application? You were hiding back there, Mr. Blick.
Yeah, I kind of keep you on your toes. Jonathan Blick, 2015 Mossy Oak Circle. We're just transferring this to R4. We've done some development down there on Center Road. I think we've developed 6 lots on Center Road. So this would just be a continuation of the same product that we're trying to put out there. We're looking at a triplex. We could do a quadplex. Triplex just fits a little bit better. Really just here to answer any questions you guys might have or the public might have. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blick. Anyone else who'd like to speak in favor of CZ 06? Anyone in favor? Anyone against CZ 06-2024? Anyone against? Okay, the public hearing is closed. Commissioners, back into regular session.
Make a motion for approval based on the reasons listed under the staff recommendation.
Second.
Got a motion and properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passes.
Okay, Commissioners, as Mr. Parker comes up here, you can go to your subdivision tab on your tablets. I will mention we do have a few variance cases today, so we'll go through those individually first, and then without objection, we'll place them on the consent agenda depending the outcome of the variances at that point. So we'll cross that when we get there, but we do have 4 total variances today to go through. So.
All right. I think it is. Thank you. All right, there we go. Good afternoon, Commissioners. As Mr. Tyndall indicated, we'll move into the variance section of our agenda. The first case is case number V6-2024. The applicant is Bill Mace. The engineer is Houston Smith of TTL. Property is located east of Highway 48 and south of Salem Road, accessed by Clara Court and Bayview Drive to the north. It's in the PGA area of the growth plan. The corresponding subdivision case is case number S31-2024. Variance request is to table 4.1, and it's to allow for a cul-de-sac length to exceed 750 feet. The request is to allow a 950-foot length cul-de-sac. You can see the justification provided by the applicant. The next section is the staff review, followed by department comments, of which I do not think there were any concern. Page 8, you'll find the variance exhibit provided by the engineer. And if there's any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer those.
Okay, we're into public hearing for variance V6 2024. Bill Mace being the owner. Mr. Smith.
Houston Smith, 330 North 2nd Street. We're just looking to add a cul-de-sac at the end of the existing right-of-way. There's already a temporary turnaround there. By platting the additional, just the circle for the cul-de-sac, we fall into this requirement for asking for the variance. I believe that when this was done, there might have been an opportunity to extend the subdivision on through, but Warioto Hills kind of blocked that off. So really the best option we got now is to just stop the cul-de-sac where it is. And with the topography, both sides of the road, there's no way for us to get another road off to break up the block length. I'll also add that we are planning on deferring this subdivision case to look at a lower density. So we do still want to hear the variance for the same road length, but I will be asking for a deferral on the subdivision.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Anyone else here to speak for this, Mr. Smith? No. Okay. Anyone here would like to speak against this case, V6? Seeing none, commissioners, we're back into regular session. We're just approving a variance.
Make a motion for approval of the variance.
Second.
Got a motion properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, variance is approved.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Our next case is V7 2024. The applicant's Dundada GP, engineers McKay Burchick and Company. It's at 326 South 7th Street. The corresponding subdivision case is case number S37. The variance is requested section 4.4 subsection 8, and that's the depth of a residential lot shall not be less than 80 feet. The existing lots do not meet the 80-foot lot width, lot depth. The proposed lot depth is 50.9 feet, and you can see the variance exhibit that shows that. You can see the justification provided by the applicant. Again, the following section is the staff review. No concerns listed there, and no concerns listed from departments. Following page 11 is that variance exhibit. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer those.
Okay, we're in public hearing for V7 2024. Don Data GP being the owner. Anyone here would like to speak in favor? Mr.
Yes, sir.
Burchett.
Cal Burchett with McKay Burchett Company. So this is zone CBD, and there's an existing house on the right lot. We're just trying to subdivide that so the owner could build something on the left lot there. And in doing that, the lot depth, because the existing lots are shallow, we won't meet that. And be happy to answer any questions. With CBD, there's no setbacks, so there's still usable area on these lots.
What are you gonna build?
It'd be a duplex on the left one and leave the existing house where it is on the right.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Burchett? Thank you, sir. Anyone else would like to speak in favor of V7? Anyone who would like to speak against V7? Okay, public hearing is closed. We're back into regular session.
Motion for approval?
Second.
Got a motion to approve and a properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passes.
Okay, Commissioners, next one is case of V8 2024. Milan Holdings LLC is the applicant. The engineers McKay Burchick and Company. South of and adjacent to Beaumont Street and north of and adjacent to Jefferson Street's the location. We're in the city. The corresponding subdivision case is case number S35 2024. And similarly to the last one, actually the same section is 4.4 subsection 8. The depth of a residential lot shall not be less than 80 feet. The proposed lots 1 through 5 do not meet that depth. You can see the exhibit in your packet a few pages down. Again, the justification provided by the applicants following, and then the staff review and department comments where there are no issues raised. Questions, I'll be happy to try and answer those.
Okay, we're in the public hearing for Milan Holdings, the owner for variance V8 2024. Anyone here would like to speak in favor?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Cal McKay, 1545 Madison Street. Very similar variance to what Burchett was requesting. These are CBD lots, no setbacks. There's actually proposed triplexes that go on these lots, and because there's no setbacks, we don't need the extra lot depth. And if you make them deeper, then you're putting this 20-foot retaining wall that's going to be on different properties. So we're just kind of trying to stop the lot at the retaining wall.
Any questions for Mr. McKay? Thank you, sir. Anyone else would like to speak in favor of V8? Anyone who'd like to speak against V8 2024? Public hearing is closed. Commissioners, it's back in our hands.
Make a motion for approval.
Got a motion to approve and a properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passes.
Okay, our final variance case for the month is V9 2024. Rita Home Builders is the applicant. The engineer is Britt Little from Weekly Brothers Engineering. Property is located north of Augburn Chapel Road and east of and adjacent to the existing terminus of Rita Drive. And the PGA area of the growth plan and the corresponding subdivision case is case number S36 2024. The variance is to table 4.1, and that's to allow a cul-de-sac length to exceed 750 feet. The request is to allow a 1,350-foot cul-de-sac. There is an intermediate turnaround that's shown. You can see that on the exhibit on the screen. You can see the justification provided by the applicant and the staff review of the variance request, and then the department comments following. No concerns were listed. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer those.
Okay, we're back in the public hearing, this being for case number V9 2024, Rita Home Builders, Inc. We were about to miss your engineering firm. I'm glad you came up.
Yes, me too. Britt Little, Weekly Brothers Engineering, 108 Center Point Drive. We're asking for a variance for the excessive cul-de-sac length. The reason for the request is this is a septic subdivision, and trying to run the ridge and build this road. Topography is difficult, makes it extremely difficult to break up the cul-de-sac length. So if you have any questions, I'd be willing to try to answer those.
So your field lines are going down the hill.
That's right. Well, they're running parallel, but
Okay.
but the sewer flows downhill.
Thank you, Mr. Little.
Thank you.
Anyone else speak in favor of V9? Anyone who would like to speak against V9? Okay, public hearing is closed. Commissioners, we're back in the regular session.
Motion for approval.
Second.
Got a motion to approve and a properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
As those opposed, same sign. Okay,
All right.
motion passes.
All right. Mr. Chairman, we do have several subdivisions on the consent agenda today. However, in a rare move, the Planning Commission would like to, that was the site plan report, sorry, subdivisions, yes. Houston, we're gonna pull that one from the consent agenda and just let you request deferral from the floor. I think that's the easiest way to do that. I will have Mr. Parker read these cases into the record. If anyone from the public, the staff, or the Planning Commission would like to discuss any of these individually, you may pull it for further consideration, and I'll ask you again after he's done reading them into the record. Go ahead, Mr. Parker.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tyndall. First case would be S35 2024. The applicant's Milan Holdings LLC. Subdivision is Milan Holdings LLC, Jefferson Street, lots 1 through 9. It is a minor plat. The staff recommendation is for minor plat approval. Next case is case number S36. Applicants Rita Home Builders Incorporated. Rita Estates Section 2D is the name of the subdivision, and that is a preliminary plat. Staff recommendation is for approval, subject to the 3 conditions listed. And finally, case S37 2024, applicant Dundata GP. Subdivision is Dundata GP, property South 7th Street, lots 1 and 2. Minor plat is the request, and the staff recommendation is for minor plat approval.
So with those recommendations, these 3 cases will be approved in one motion by the Planning Commission. Does anyone from the public need to pull one of these for further consideration? All right, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Commissioners, we're going to do this in a consent agenda then for case S35, S36, and S37. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion.
Got a
Second.
motion and a properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Case number S31 2024. Again, the applicant's Bill Mace. Bayview subdivision is the it's the subdivision, and the request is for preliminary plat.
This is S31. All right.
31, correct. Houston just needs to request a deferral from the floor.
Mr. Smith, would you like to request a deferral from the floor?
Houston Smith, 330 North 2nd Street, representing the owner. We just want to request a deferral to bring this back with a base zone instead of a cluster, so we asked to be able to send it back next month.
Great. Need a motion to approve the deferral.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye. Carry next.
Okay.
All right, Commissioners, now if you'll go to your site review tab on your tablets. All items in this portion of the agenda are considered routine and non-controversial by the staff of the Regional Planning Commission and may be approved by one motion. However, a member of the audience, commission, or staff may request that an item be removed for separate consideration. In a rare move, the staff is removing
SR 32.
Thank you. SR 32, Smile Train Scooters Coffee Store, 1962, from it for further consideration. Mr. Parker, would you read the remaining items into the record?
Yes, sir. Case number SR 18 2024. The applicant is Ben Udell. The name of the site is Kraft Popeyes at 886 Kraft Street. The property is zone C2 commercial, and the staff recommendation is for approval subject to the 2 conditions listed. SR 26 is deferred. SR 28 is West Creek Station LLC. The name of the site, that is the name of the site. The proposed use is multifamily and commercial at 2180 Peters Mill Road. The property zone C2 general commercial, and the staff recommendation is for approval subject to the 3 conditions listed. SR 29 2024 is applicant's Jonathan Blick, Old Dover Road Storage. The location's the corner of Oakwood and Wine Lane. C5 commercial, and approval subject to the condition listed. SR 30 is Holly Point LLC. It's Lisenby Fields Townhomes Phase 2. The property is located south of Dover Street and east of Liberty Church Road. Zoning is R4 multiple family, and the recommendation is for approval subject to the 2 conditions listed. Case number S31 2024, applicant's Philip Trailer. It's Philip Trailer Property Phase 3. It's retail and warehouse is the proposed use, and C5 commercial is the zoning, and the staff recommendation is for approval subject to the 3 conditions listed. Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, is there anyone here who would like to pull SR 18, SR 28, SR 29, SR 30, or SR 31? If not, this will be on a consent agenda and all be approved or disapproved in one action. Okay. Commissioners, we got a consent agenda for all those that Mr. Parker just identified. Need a motion to approve.
Motion for approval.
Second.
Got a motion properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay.
Okay, our final site review case is case number SR 32-2024. The applicant is Smile Train. The name of the site is Scooter's Coffee Store, number 1962. Proposed use is a commercial drive-through only coffee business, zone C2. If you'd like to go to page 26 of your staff report, you'll see the aerial overview of the site. I do want to point out a few existing site conditions in the area. This portion of Fort Campbell Boulevard is right where there's it goes from 2 to 3 lanes. So there's merging traffic going on at that area. Additionally, Power Street is across Fort Campbell Boulevard, which is another potential conflict point. It's at the beginning of a curve, which could limit some of the site distance, especially for leaving the property to the left. And then finally, also, it's right before there's some turn lanes coming in at Dover Road. Point all that out to go to the next page, which is the site review, the proposed site review. I'll mention that initially in initial discussions with the applicant, the staff discussed trying to get a right out turn only rather than a full access point there onto Dover Road. The applicant did not want to do that, so alternatively the staff asked for a rear access to Sinclair Drive that would provide an access point with a traffic signal. The staff also requested to have an internal loop, and it didn't make it into your packet, but I can pass those around to you. Something similar to what's shown there was what the staff was requesting, and this is just basically to allow cars after they go through the drive-through lane to have that option to be able to exit to Sinclair rather than making a left turn out of the site. The applicant did put the rear access to Sinclair, but did not provide the loop as requested by the staff. Furthermore, the staff required sidewalks, and the applicant did not want to install sidewalks internally. So to get to Fort Campbell Boulevard, there's already existing sidewalks on Fort Campbell Boulevard. The applicant requested not to do those. The following page is an email provided by the engineer just stating that they wanted to move the site plan forward without the loop road and without the sidewalk connection. The following page is just some aerials of the area. So if there's any questions at this point, I'll be happy to answer those. Otherwise, I can go ahead and read the recommendation.
Well, the short of it is that we're going to defer this, right?
Well, we're recommending disapproval at the moment.
Disapproval.
But we do need a public hearing, and we can hear what the engineer has to say. They've requested a public hearing.
Do you want me to read the
Read the recommendation.
Yes.
Staff recommendation is for disapproval. I will reference a few sections of the zoning ordinance and the comprehensive plan. 5.10 of the zoning ordinance, purpose site plan review is intended to advance public safety and well-being through harmonious development that advances the public interests such as multimodal transportation, minimum standards, and overall site safety. RPC has requested an internal loop, you can see the diagram that I passed around, or similar alternative to provide secondary egress from the site to Sinclair Drive, which has access to a traffic signal. Staff has concerns relative to the safety of left turn movements onto Fort Campbell Boulevard, and anything to reduce the number of left turn trips onto Fort Campbell Boulevard should be considered. 5.103 CC of the zoning ordinance, site plan shall include a pedestrian circulation plan to include a combination of internal sidewalks, crosswalks, and/or access ramps, etc., and shall meet American with Disabilities Act regulations at the time of construction. Sidewalks shall be required at the discretion of the Regional Planning Commission. The RPC staff is requiring sidewalks and pedestrian connectivity to Fort Campbell Boulevard. The applicant has requested to eliminate the sidewalk connection due to this being drive-through only. Staff would like to point out that employees may utilize the transit system, which has stops on Fort Campbell Boulevard, and additionally, pedestrian connectivity as a whole is impacted beyond this property. Reference to the comprehensive plan, page 144, promote more pedestrian-oriented development and de-emphasize auto use, incorporate traffic calming design to encourage lower speeds in residential areas. Staff encouraged the applicant to include a walk-up service window on the plans. The applicant just stated that this is a drive-through use only. And finally, also from the comp plan, support context-sensitive design standards as redevelopment occurs, such as vehicular use and pedestrian connectivity between uses, improved landscape, shared driveways, consolidating curb cuts, parking to the side and rear of structures, and streetscaping. By not allowing improved access for the drive-through to circulate back to Sinclair Drive after the drive-through window, the site as planned encourages locals from adjacent developments and neighborhoods to enter and exit Fort Campbell Boulevard unnecessarily. Thank you.
Okay, we need a public hearing for site review 32/2024. Is there an engineer here that's representing this applicant? That's what I understood. Anyone here to represent the applicant?
They're out of town.
They're out of town. Okay.
Defer it.
I asked them if they'd be here. I don't have any reason to defer it. They wanted to have the case heard.
Well, it's up to you, Commissioner. Well, let's close the public hearing first. Since
Yeah, public hearing is closed.
So at your disposal, you can defer this a month. We've made it clear to the engineering firm for this what our recommendation would be. They did not want to comply, so therefore that's why we went with the disapproval. You can defer, we can continue and just do this another month, or you can deny it and they can reapply and go through it again. But I may think that deferral may be the correct option, at least this month. If they don't show up again next month. Maybe.
If we disapprove, how long can they immediately reapply?
And they did ask that question.
I think you spank them.
I think my thought is the public, when they're unable, if they're opposed to something, when they're unable to come speak against it, it doesn't get deferred, so they can come back and speak another time. Either side is adequately aware of the public hearing here today.
I make a motion for disapproval.
A second.
We got a motion and a properly made second to disapprove SR 32/2024. All in favor of disapproval, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed to disapproval, like sign. Okay, disapproved.
All right, Commissioners, you can open your other business tab on your iPads. While you're doing that, I'll just mention to everyone here and you as well, Commissioners, this Friday from 8 to noon, we'll have our annual staff and commissioner training. We'll be off-site, so the Planning Commission will be closed Friday from 8 to noon. We'll be here from noon to the rest of the day, so if you need to pick up something or drop something off, we'll be here Friday afternoon, but just not Friday morning. No one will be even at the phones. Everyone's going to be off-site training with us this time. All right, Commissioners, the first item today is a letter of credit release for Reynolds right-of-way subdivision. I'll let Mr. Parker, he went out and inspected it. This does not require a public hearing. It just requires Planning Commission action. Mr. Parker.
1 second, please. The applicant was Double Bogey Partners, and they are just requesting the release of the bond for Reynolds Street Row. I did go out to the site. The alley has been built and appears to meet all the requirements of the subdivision regulations. So, recommend approval on that.
Do I hear a motion to release the credit for this project on Reynolds Street?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? Got a motion and properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.
Next item up is our monthly profit and loss statement through May 31st, 2024. I'll be happy to answer any questions, but request your approval.
Motion for approval.
Second.
Got a motion to approve and a properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion approved.
And the last item today is a review of the Montgomery County 5-year capital improvement plan. This was sent to you last Thursday, I believe. And just like we did with the city, the Planning Commission does not have any, the staff does not have any additional comments on this 5-year plan. as it's proposed currently. This does not require a public hearing. If any commissioners have any additional comments, we can forward them to the county. Otherwise, we'll just need an approval.
Make a motion for approval?
Got a motion to approve and a properly made second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, it comes to that time for the public comment period. If there's anyone here who would like to speak on any topic that was not on the agenda today. You can talk about your girlfriend if you want to.
Oh, gosh.
Anything that's not on the agenda today. If not, we'll close that. And I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion, or second.
Thanks, everybody.
Good job, Mr. Chairman.
1 hour.
Boom.
Haven't had an hour.